Good evening, Wood County, and welcome to your BG24 Sports Highlight Show. I'm Jerome White. With me tonight is my co-host, Zach Carrion. In our second segment, we will be joined by Ryan Strobeck of the Bowling Green Radio Sports Organization.
Tonight, we'll be analyzing the BGSU football game this past Saturday, followed by a quick recap of women's soccer this past week. Stay tuned, we have it all on the BG24 Sports Highlight Show.
Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome again to your BG24 Sports Highlight Show. This past Saturday, the Falcon football team battled the Memphis Tigers at the Falcons' home opener, but were unable to come away with the win. Quarterback Matt Johnson did complete 28 of 44 passes for 443 yards and 4 touchdowns. And receiver Roger Lewis also had 7 receptions for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. But how about that Falcons defense?
You know, I really do think that defense needs to step up. The offense is playing great, but it's hard to win games when your defense can't have a game without them giving up 40 points.
Yeah, 44 points given up by the defense just isn't going to cut it in any level of play, like no matter how much the offense can score.
Exactly, you're right. I mean, on average, these past 3 games, they've been giving up over 40 points a game, and that just can't happen. Quarterback Matt Johnson's been playing great, and the offense has been doing well, but they can't win any games if the defense is giving up that many points.
Yeah, Matt Johnson has been playing phenomenal. He's leading the nation in passing yards, but like you said, he can't do it all himself. He needs the defense to step it up to help this offense out. Can't give up 44 points and expect to win.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Now, I mean, it's good that we're having high-scoring games, but you don't want them to be that close all the time.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
After the game, we had head coach Dino Babers speak to us about the result.
There's no doubt. I mean, if you get a fake punt, you get two trick plays for a touchdown. I mean, normally you should blow that team out. You know, it still shouldn't be a game with 1 minute and 56 seconds left. I'm really proud with my guys. I mean, this is a big-time football team, big-time conference, maybe the best team not in a Power 5. This is a good football team. Now, that being said, I thought we made mistakes and we had our opportunities to win, and I take my hat off to my guys. They fought all the way to the end, but they're a good team. You know, Memphis is a good football team.
Moving on to the Falcons women's soccer team. The team took on the Butler Bulldogs this weekend, and the Falcons fell 2-0 and currently have a 4-3-1 record. Now, the soccer team, I don't know, man. They've been giving up too many goals, and their offense has not been able to get anything going.
Do you think it's schemes, the coaching, or the players? Like, what do you think is the cause for the offense not being able to produce right now?
I think this one is on the schemes and the coach. I think Lindsay Basilega, she's a good coach, but something on this team is not working right. And they haven't been able to get good, solid possessions. And this past weekend, Butler had control of the ball most of the game.
Yeah, they have to get the ball more and have more control of the ball so they can get goals out of it. If you can't control the ball, you can't produce points. And if you can't produce points, you can't produce victories.
Exactly. Goals are the key to victory in soccer.
Exactly.
They happen very little, but when they do happen, they're exciting, and you need to get those if you want to win, especially if you want to win the MAC, and that's coming up pretty soon. After the game, head coach Lindsay Basilega talked to about the team's ball control in the loss to the Bulldogs.
And for us, it was more a matter of how disciplined we were staying defensively. You know, possession is only one stat. What matters is, you know, opportunities on goal. So even though Butler did have a bit of run of play and, you know, some solid possession at times, I was really pleased with our defensive organization. If it's not resulting in ultimately a quality chance or our back line getting broken, you know, we were okay with that. So for us, it was just focusing on the defensive discipline, even though they are a pretty tight, organized, attacking team.
Stay tuned for Around the Country, our weekly discussion and debate on the hottest topics in the national sports. Ryan Strobeck of BGRSO will be joining us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to our discussion and debate around the country. I'm joined by Jerome White and Ryan Stonebeck. All right, so we got a few topics here today, guys. We're talking BGSU football, we're talking Browns, and we're talking the NFC East, and specifically the Cowboys. Now, let's start off with BG football. Matt Johnson is at the top of his game right now. He's leading the country in passing yards. What do you think about that, Jerome?
Well, like you said, he's at the top of his game right now, and apparently he's at the top of everyone's game right now, with whopping over 1,300 yards. Passing this year so far, and it's #1 in the entire nation, not just the MAC, which is surprising. And I'm thinking he can keep it up for another month or so. But once the weather starts to drop to the 20 degrees, 15 degrees, and that whopping wind, I don't think he'll be able to do it. It's going to be too hard in Northwest Ohio to continuously be able to throw for 400 yards a game. And with that, they're going to have to start running the ball more. And when the ball goes into the hands of Travis Green and Fred Coppett, Matt Johnson won't have the ability to throw those 400-yard passing games.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jerome. Matt Johnson playing great. I don't know if he can keep it up. I mean, it's going to get a little tough. You know, you're going to get banged up going into the season. You're going to go into MAC play. It's going to get cold. I don't know if he can keep this up, but if he can, I'll be very impressed. Ryan?
I think the Bowling Green defense definitely needs to improve, but their motto is they can outscore everybody. That's their motto. They think they can outscore everybody. And if they can, they're obviously going to win the game. But the best defense is a good offense, and they definitely had their opportunities on Saturday to score more points than Memphis, and they kind of blew them away. Matt Johnson, actually, I think could be a Heisman candidate. If you remember Jordan Lynch from 2013, he finished 3rd in the Heisman voting, and he was from Northern Illinois. So if Matt Johnson keeps up his incredible play, I can definitely see him as a Heisman candidate in New York City coming this winter.
Well, we're going to hope for the best for the Falcons, but moving on to the NFL, the Cleveland Browns defeated Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans this weekend. A very impressive performance by Johnny Manziel and Travis Benjamin. It'll be interesting to see if Johnny can keep this play up and if Josh McCown will ever get some playing time again. I was kind of unimpressed by Josh McCown to start the season, and I'm not totally sold on Johnny Manziel, but if he keeps this up, I think the job is his. Jerome?
Well, like you said, he has to keep this up, but will he get the opportunity to keep it up? That's the question, because it doesn't seem like the coaching staff is still sold on Johnny Manziel yet. You have to think every time Mike Patton goes into the media, Josh McCown's our starter, Josh McCown's our starter. So I think he doesn't want to throw lambs to the slaughter when it comes to Johnny. He doesn't want to throw him in the fire. He wants to bring him along slowly, which is understandable. We have quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers who didn't get thrown in the first or second year. They were waiting for them to get their opportunity. And I think Johnny's going to get his opportunity. It just won't come this season. I think it'll be next season unless Josh McCown just messes all the way up.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel, I think he could work with this team, and him and Travis Benjamin could be a good connection. Ryan, I don't know if you agree at all.
I agree totally. You wasted a first-round pick on Johnny Manziel, and then you're going to toss him away after he just beat the Tennessee Titans. He was thrown in there week 1 against the Jets, and you can't expect much out of him when you don't expect to start. And then you see an improvement of Johnny from totally last year. He's improved a lot. But again, it's going to come down to who gives the team the best chance to win. Josh McCown, on his first drive, obviously he looked pretty productive, driving all the way down the field, then he fumbled and he got hurt. So we don't know what to expect. So we'll see what Mike Patton has in store for the Browns.
All right, and moving on to the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys. Oh my goodness, Tony Romo out 8 to 10 weeks, I think. And Des Bryant is also out. Their offense, I don't know what they're going to do. Brandon Whedon might step in. In Cleveland, we know Brandon Whedon, and he's not the best quarterback option for the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be tough, but the conference is very, very shaky with the Redskins, the Giants, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I just don't know about them. Jerome?
Well, like you said, it's an interesting conference, to say the least. I think the Eagles can pull their games together. They have too much talent on the offensive end to not be a contender this year. I just don't. DeMarco Murray, 13 yards over 2 games, that's not going to cut it in any division. And even with the Cowboys' injuries, I still think the Cowboys can compete in that division just because of how everyone else is playing. I don't really think the Giants or Redskins are going to push those 2 teams to the side. I mean, we've seen Eli Manning take his teams to the Super Bowl with lesser talent than what he has now, but I don't see those teams doing it this year. I do see the Cowboys, if they can win, stay about 4-4, maybe 5-3, over the first half of the season before Dez Bryant and Romo make their returns, the Cowboys can turn around their season and win the NFC East and possibly make a trip to the Super Bowl.
Well, I wouldn't count out the New York Giants quite yet. I've learned over the years to never count out Eli Manning because he's always going to do something weird and just win. He just wins. Ryan, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. For the Cowboys to win a division, they're going to have to be conservative and run the ball a lot. They have a great offensive line, decent running backs, not the best because they lost Murray, but I mean, they have to be conservative definitely if they want to go out and win the East. They definitely have a chance because, as you said, Redskins, Giants, and Eagles, they're not looking too hot right now. The only team I could see potentially coming up and beating the Cowboys is the Eagles because they have Chip Kelly's offense, and that hasn't looked too great so far, but it's been 2 games in the season. You never know. We'll keep an eye on that division.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that division develops, and going into the playoffs, who's going to come out on top? Are we going to have another scenario where a team with a losing record goes into the playoffs? That's going to be pretty wild. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to check out BG24 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, tune in tomorrow at 5:30 for our local news show.
Next week, we will be discussing the results of the BGSU football game versus Purdue and the men's soccer results of the week. We'll see you next week.